Hello, everyone. We welcome you to the Filmmaking Sucks podcast,
where we tell you about all the mistakes you can make while producing a film.
And explain how you can avoid them yourself.
And we are your hosts,
Manny,
Lynn,
and Mario. And let's get this party started.
All right. I was going to sing something, but then I was going to sing, and then I just decided not to, so let's not.
It's best for everybody.
You're absolutely right.
They're really lucky they didn't see that little dance.
I agree, 100%. I'm so glad this is an audio and not video podcast. What's up, everybody? We're back here, sitting around this room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job. All right,
We're really acting like we're excited about this podcast.
Yeah. So let's just do this. Let's just use that cheap segue. Look at that. He broke the TV. Broke the screen. That's awesome. He threw him in. See the spots? The black spots?
Yay.
We're watching the WWE pay-per-view right now, and
We shouldn't be.
but we are.
Oh.
So let's get to business. Your poorly worded segue there. Your terrible low segue. This week we're going to be talking about actors, using actors in your films. Using one of the biggest things that happens in film is using your friends as actors, and then making the leap into finding professional actors.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start out with where most of us, every one of us starts out at, using friends as actors. Pros and cons.
Also, there's another little 1A part of that, which is marrying yourself to other actors you may know for parts, and they are not available or don't want to do them, or they just don't work out. On top of that, you know what I'm saying?
No. You confused both of us, so obviously.
All right. You have someone in... This goes with the friends part. It's having someone in mind for a role, and they're just not the right fit.
Oh, I see. So
marrying yourself to the idea of having one person
them,
play
even though they don't fit
a
the
character,
role.
and then they just aren't exactly what you want.
That happens in a lot of films because you say, "Hey, I like them and I like working with them, so I'm going to give them this role."
That's a very common mistake early on.
Yeah, they're just not good for the role, but you like working with them, so you stick them in there.
Pros, they're free.
Pros of using friends, yes, they are generally free. The con of that is that their patience runs thin.
Also that they're free.
Yeah.
It's a double negative.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Their patience runs thin because they're free.
And
they're giving you your spare time. Spare time.
The boundary is blurred.
Yes.
When are you a friend and when are you an actor? You know, if you're not able to draw that line on set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
You got to remember something. This is your movie. All right? This is your film. It's not their film. They're helping you doing this. All right? Are you... when someone says to you, "Hey, I'm moving next week. I need a couple of my friends to come help me move furniture." How many of you groan? Everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone goes, "Oh," but you feel bad, so you give them a hand anyway. Your friends being your actors is the same thing. Now, I have to make a distinction here.
At first, they're excited sometimes.
Yes, of course they are. Because hey, man, I'm moving next week. I'm gonna go. I'll get a bunch of beers and some pizza, and we'll all do it. Awesome, let's do it, man. We'll have a fun day. And then the beers and pizza don't show up for the first 8 hours of moving all the couches. You know, by that time they need a beer just to put up with your ass.
Yep.
Okay, but
all right. I really thought this couch was going to fit through this doorway.
Yeah. You know, I want to make a distinction here. I'm not talking about friends who are actors. That's different.
Yeah, we're talking about actual friends.
Using friends because you don't know any actors, sticking your friends in a movie almost never goes well.
Or the other, this plays into that. It's when you say to your friends, "Hey, I'm taking the leap and actually making a movie," and then half of them are like, "Oh, I'll be in it," and they raise their hand, and then you start thinking immediately, this is when you don't know what you're doing completely, and you're like, "Oh, okay, you're this guy, and you're that," and then they just never show up, and you're just like, "Oh, okay."
Because it becomes work.
Yep.
Once you start giving them lines and you tell them you need them to do this and you need to be here and be there, and they realize that acting in a movie is not something you show up, say a couple of lines, and go home with.
No.
This is a minimum 8-hour day process.
A lot of hurry up and wait.
And hurry up and wait. What does that mean, hurry up and wait? Because that sounds a little oxymoron-ish. Hurry up
It
and wait.
is.
There's a bit of a juxtaposition there.
But
What
it's-
does hurry up and wait mean, Lindsay? Tell us what hurry up and wait means.
Everything on a film set is rush, rush, rush. Let's get to the next scene. Let's set up. Let's do this. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have a light that needs to be fixed, or you're going to have to wait until you're seen, or wait until when you're actually on camera. It's a lot of excitement in the beginning and just, let's do this. And then you just kind of wind up sitting around waiting for your scene to happen, lights to get fixed, etc.
From the director's perspective, I see that as the hurry up and wait to me is everybody has to get their jobs done so that they can sit and wait for the director to call them and say, we're ready for you. The special effects people have to hurry up and get the actress in their or actor into makeup.
Yeah.
The special effects, the makeup people, they need to get you into makeup now, so that when the director needs you, you're ready to go.
Yeah,
That's hurry up, finish what you're doing, so you can wait until they're ready for you.
exactly.
Yep.
That's hurry up.
That's
and
how
wait.
I see it,
in my
too, yeah.
opinion.
I was explaining it from an actor's perspective.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. From the directors and the crew's perspective, hurry up, get your shit done so that when we need you, you're
Get
ready
yourself
to go.
prepped and prepared and get us to a
Good
point where you're ready
actors,
to go.
in my opinion,
Again, no. See, I don't like that word "good" because
Hmm.
that's a matter of perspective.
Professional.
Experienced.
okay, experienced actors.
Experienced.
Say you have an actress and an actor in a scene. Experienced actors will go aside while they are waiting and practice their scene off camera and off soundboard. You know, like that's another problem with having.
They'll run lines.
Yes,
running
they'll run lines. And another problem with friends is that you tell them exactly what you want, and then they just don't do it, and they don't understand, even though they say "got it."
Yeah.
That's the two words you never want to hear. Got it.
Yeah, your friends don't. Everybody thinks they're just like everybody thinks they're a good liar. Everybody thinks they're a good judge of character. Everyone thinks that they're funny. Everyone thinks they have a sense of humor. Everyone thinks they're an actor. Everyone thinks they can act, except for the few people who say, "Nah, I can't act for my life."
I can't act.
No, yeah,
I
some
can't
people
act
say
either,
that,
and I've acted.
because you've done it. Because you've done it.
Yeah.
Because we've done it, we know we can't do it.
Yep.
But until you've done it, everybody thinks they can be a good actor.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks being an actor is easy. I wish we had like a real actor sitting here to sit and talk about.
Which we could do one day.
We could do one day. Yes,
Yeah.
we will. But I wish right now we did. But being an actor is not easy. All right. I know that a lot of the perception of actors is that, you know, they're just they're dumb, pretty things that you stick on screen. They say some lines. Ooh, how hard could their life be? We had an actress who was playing a character. She was playing the character had breast cancer. She spent a day in a hospital cancer ward studying, talking to the patients, talking to the doctors, letting them walk her through the process that they go through, listening to their stories, finding out what the surgery entails. What is the aftercare? How long does it take? What is the pain they go through? What do their families feel? She spent hours talking to cancer patients so that she could learn what it's like to be one, so she could honestly portray someone like that. Do you think does anybody think that they could sit there for a whole day and listen to cancer patients' stories without just running out in tears?
Not
No.
That's hard to
that.
do.
No.
And then the next day to put yourself in their headspace and play them on screen.
Yeah.
That is not easy to do.
No.
It's very, very hard to do.
Yeah, like, yeah, everybody thinks it's easy to be an actor. Well, great. Play somebody who has breast cancer.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, no, it's
Believably.
after having to do it in a lead role. Yeah, I know for a fact it's
not easy.
even with you've shot it. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not easy. Like playing a quasi tormented character, and from what I did, like it was not And
Yeah.
it suffered because we've talked in other podcasts before. You know, I had to do a million things, but it's not easy. Having to also feed off friends who are not actors as well when you want something from them and they don't give that to you. That's another problem with, say you are on your set and you have a friend as one of the roles as a principal or a lead,
Yeah.
and you have the lead who's a professional or experienced actor that you hired
Yep.
to be there, and they're acting along with them and they're getting frustrated because your friend is not getting it.
He's not ready. He's not prepared.
Say
Doesn't
an
know what he's
actress
doing.
is, I can't believe you, John. You cheated on me. And the guy playing John's like, I'm sorry, Claire. I didn't mean to cheat on you. And he's looking at a lamp on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just, it doesn't work. So, like, I don't know.
There's a lot that goes into acting that a lot of people don't understand. There's things like eye lines, actors have to know how to work for the camera. They have to know how to face the camera, when to face away from the camera, how to play towards it. They also have to be able to go through the entire scene and ignore the 7 to 15 people who are standing around them with cameras and microphones and the food, the
Clipboards.
smell of the food that's coming in from the other room, the clipboards, the director who's doing this and the sound guy's doing that. There's a whole crew of people standing behind that camera that they have to ignore.
And that's a lot of pressure too, where it's
Yeah.
like when you start to fumble lines, and
Everybody's like, oh God, here we go.
You know in your head, and it's so hard for a crew, especially. I mean, like now we're on hour 8.5. And we're on take 15 because you keep missing the one word. And as hard as, we're all human. You do have that
fatigue factor.
that sigh that's in you. And an actor has to ignore that. And that's
Think about this.
hard.
You're doing an emotional scene, a very emotional scene, and you put yourself in this whole headspace of, maybe your character needs to cry and you need to figure something that's going to make you cry. So you put yourself in that space of being 8 years old again and your dog died. And
Something that brings you to tears.
You have to bring yourself back to that. And you've got a 6'2" camera guy with a large beard and a red hat on, standing 8 inches away from your face with a camera, trying to catch that tear as it comes out of your eye.
And you have a light that's shined on your face to hit that one
You have
tear.
120-degree light right on top of your head and another one underneath you, and a director who's sitting there waiting for the moment, and a sound guy who's putting a werewolf penis-looking microphone in front of your face.
And a producer who's looking at her watch.
Yep. And you still have to deliver this, but you have to block all of that out and cry.
And then you build up the strength. You remember Pickles, your dog, having to be put down from horrific
And you
cancer.
have to do this in front of all those people.
And you cry, and then said 6'5" bearded redhead guy says, "Sorry, lens cap." And then the director's like, "You fuck, cut, do it again."
You asshole, do it again. Yes, and then you have to do it again.
Yep. Guess what? Guess who's not going to do that? A friend of yours, most likely.
Yes.
Or guess who's not going to be your friend after doing that?
That actor. Okay. So actors have it rough. It's very difficult to be an actor.
Plus, it's extremely competitive.
It is. It's very competitive. So today we want to talk about that. We want to talk about what it's like working with actors, how to work with certain actors, and what actors should to work with us. We're going to go through. We want to do some casting discussion and everything. So again, we talked about friends. Friends are good. They save you time. They save you
it's a good
effort. They
place to
save you
start.
money.
Your first shorts or web series or even your first film, again, we've discussed many a times, it's going to be a lot of favors. It's going to be a lot of, hey, can you help me out? So sometimes you don't really have much choice, but your second feature or going forward, friends is when you got to, unless your friends are actual experienced or trained or
sometimes you have
professional
one
actors.
friend who's actually just a naturally good actor, and he kind of enjoys it, and he helps you out with it, and you do this stuff, and you do this together, and he helps you out. He does it on your movie, and
I have
he's
one of
there.
those,
You have a friend who's actually just naturally good at it, and he does it, and that's great.
He's he's a paid professional actor.
Well, I'm not talking about them.
No.
No, I'm talking about sometimes you just happen to have a friend who's just naturally a good actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you keep him there and you use him in your films and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that because he takes it serious. Because once he realizes he's good at it, he starts taking it seriously. He may not go and be an actor for other people, but he'll do it for you. Okay,
Yeah.
and you start treating him differently than all your other friends. You start treating him like a real actor because like this guy's delivering something amazing for you, and he's doing it for you and only you. And that's great. So you want to keep that relationship nice and strong. And by doing, one of the ways of keeping that relationship nice and strong is by surrounding that one friend who's a natural actor who's doing it for you, surrounding him with other people who take it seriously. So that this way he doesn't have to be the only guy in the room who's not checking his watch. Oh, wait a minute, isn't lunch in a half an hour? When's the food getting here?
Put your phone down.
Put your phone. Oh man, you see that video? You see Lady Gaga at the Super Bowl? Did you see that chick? Look at the gun on her. You know what I mean? All the people standing around looking around a cell phone, and your one good friend is standing there trying to run his lines and trying to get it good because he wants to do this for you, and everybody else is messing around.
Yeah.
So you accommodate your friend by getting other people who.
And he'll get better. If you give him people to feed off of, he'll get better.
Absolutely. You know, so it's good you start with your friends, that's fine, but eventually you got to move on.
Yeah.
You got to move on. You got to start
hire
taking it seriously.
Real people.
Yeah. Now, I'm not talking unions here. I'm not talking about unions. You know, we're not at that point. When you want to start working with SAG and unions, you got to become a signatory, and that shit costs money.
Oh yeah.
So we'll just bleh on that for right now. Let's leave unions to
We're talking
another
about
episode.
actors we can get a hold of.
Yeah.
You know, like we all have our friends who are part of SAG. Like I said, when I mistook what you said, a friend of mine, Scott, he's a professional SAG actor. He gets lines in TV shows and yada yada yada. He will.
You know an actor who just so happens to be your friend.
Yes, he is a friend of mine and will come out and shoot bit roles for me as long as it's less than what he's allowed
4
to
hours.
do. Yeah.
Yes. With SAG, if you have a SAG actor friend, they can do up to 4 hours on your set without having to speak to SAG about it.
Yeah.
Up to 4 hours in a day. No problem. That generally you can probably get a lot done in that 4 hours if you're really fast about it. You can get a lot done in that 4 hours, you know?
But yeah, he's one of those friends who does this for a living, actually makes all he has to do is act, and he makes his money.
Actor.
Yes.
Excellent.
And yeah, so I mean, if you're lucky enough to have those eventually at the beginning, you know, that's good to have.
How do you get past that point? And this is one thing that a lot of filmmakers have that it's kind of a barricade. It's I think it's one of the first real barriers you have to cross is how do you find real or good actors? How do you find experienced actors? And a lot of people don't actually know how to do that, but it's so much easier than you think it is.
Yeah.
Duh. I saw you uncover your notepad. If you get something to say.
I was already with my list.
So
okay.
Get into your list.
So one option is looking for theater actors who are looking to make it into film.
That have open schedules, by the way. Make sure that is.
Where do you find those theater actors?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
You have background actors. Often, a lot of times, you'll find like SAG or people working their way into SAG. They're doing a lot of background. They'll be looking for a speaking role that they can put onto their reel. That'll get them bigger and better parts. Mm-hmm. Theater and acting students, check out your college campuses, check out the local theater house. You can absolutely do that. There's a bunch of websites. You can go to Actors Access, Craigslist.
We use Actors Access ourselves.
That's what I'm using.
Well,
for this.
excuse me, no, we use Breakdown Express.
Yeah.
It's a really cool service. They're in a bunch of different cities. What we do is we take our casting call. We write up the names of the characters and we describe the characters, and you put that onto a website called Breakdown Express. All right, and Breakdown Express will then publish your casting call onto a website called Actors Access. Breakdown Express is for the producers and casting agents. Actors Access is for the actors, so that this way they don't cross with each other.
Okay.
You know. This way you don't have producers looking at other movies, and so that this way we don't have to worry about that. We just I sign in, I see my stuff and nobody else's stuff. I don't need to see all that other nonsense. So the actors get on there, and then they see the breakdown, and then they respond to it, and then on Breakdown Express, I get their information. I get their headshot and their resume and their video reel and all that through that. And that's one very, very simple way of doing it. And depending on what state and city you're in, once you post on Breakdown Express, there are other things like in here, I got NY Castings found our breakdown based on Breakdown Express. Now, a lot of these websites you have to pay to send. Now, Breakdown Express is totally free. All right, it's totally free. A lot of these other websites you have to pay to put the casting up. A lot of these websites then will find you on Breakdown Express, and they'll give you a free listing for a month, just so that this way you'll be enticed to come use their service. How long do you really need it for? If you're only doing the one movie, how long do you really need that casting call to sit up there? Give it a month. No problem. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to have to take it down in a month. That's totally fine by me. But it's just one of those things because some people put up casting calls all the time.
I just put one up.
Yeah. And some of those paid websites, you get a lot, I'm going to say higher caliber of actor because the actors are paying to be on there too. So they're getting a higher caliber of casting calls on there too as well. Fox is not posting on Breakdown Express. They're just not, because there's a lot of non-union work on there. So they're not even bothering. They're going on to the paid websites.
Yeah,
So IMDb Pro now, funny enough.
They are. So a lot of
a lot of the larger movies, they bring on a casting director who contacts casting agencies and casting agents, and that's how they're getting most of their actors.
Well, I'm talking for a lot of the times they do still post these things. If they need 200 extras,
they need 200 extras or something.
They're not going to pay a casting agent to find them 200 extras.
No, they're going to put a post somewhere.
Put a post somewhere, and 300 people will show up.
Like, what was it? I Legend or
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. They did something here in New York, and I think it
was on the bridge. It was like 1,000 extras.
They needed 1,000 extras
of all the people trying to escape the city when the bridge is taken out or something in the scene. Yeah. They just posted a cast, and and people showed up, and they gave everybody hand warmers because they were shooting in the summer. They gave in the winter, gave everybody hand warmers and hats and gloves.
And they each got every 2 hours they got a break to go buy the heating.
Yeah, to go buy the heating, and then free coffee and everything, and everybody got paid like $50 for the day to stand around in the cold. Yeah. Or $75 each. Everybody walked off with a little check in their pocket. And that's how they do those main big castings. But anyway, for you to find this, there's more options for you filmmakers who are a lot of them in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the middle of nowhere. How do you find these actors? These websites.
Yeah.
Craigslist also is
Craigslist.
Craigslist. You put in your local newspaper for a really, really small town. You probably are better off than most, where you can reach out to the town, reach out to, the local newspapers, town hall meetings. Just go down and just say, I'm looking to make a film. It'll be a really great way for you to gauge your community involvement. Yeah, the Town of the Dead.
Yep. Yeah. If you're in a small town, you'd be surprised how easy it is to get help and actors and people to be part of your movie. Hell, I'm sure if you're in a small town, you already know this because you know everybody in town. As soon as you say you're making a movie, everybody's like, really? I'm coming around. I want to give you a hand. Oh, use my farm, use my backyard, use this, use that. But you got to find actors for that too. So you can go to your local town hall and talk to them. What do they meet like maybe once a month, these town hall places or something? We have one over here. We have one here in New York. We still have town hall meetings, and
residents
associations. They meet once a month. And if you're making a movie, you can probably show up and say you want to find some actors and you'd like to address the town hall and get people to, spread the word and tell everybody how to contact you. That's one great way of doing that. Like she said, go to your local, college theater, high school theater.
If you have a local theater in your town or surrounding towns, great place to start is there.
Mm-hmm. And just talk.
Another place, even though I don't recommend it highly, you can go through Facebook groups and Twitter groups and stuff like that. Yeah. Put up castings.
I don't like doing that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I do it, but I don't, because a lot of actors and actresses friend request me because they know I have something going on. So now, like, I have a lot of people, but they just automatically think they're getting the role.
Exactly.
So
That's one thing. Another thing I don't like is when you post on Facebook, especially when you're at that point where you're trying to get away from using friends. Once you post on Facebook, you're losing for it. All those friends you're trying to not work with anymore start messaging you, hey, man, you know I'm always available. Yeah, you are always available, but you show up 2 hours late. You complain all day long.
You leave early.
You play on your phone. You want to leave early. You don't have your, but these are your friends. You don't want to say that to them.
Yeah.
Because they're your friends, and you don't want to be like, dude, you're a bad actor. You're terrible. You're terrible.
Like, listen, I got into a bunch of film, a bunch of film festivals. I got rejected to a bunch, and the ones I did make it to, there was a review off of one of them. They said, God, this acting is horrible.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell your friend that. I mean, it's bad enough.
You don't want to hurt your friend's feelings.
You had to read
They
it.
helped you. Your friend helped you out.
That's what I was going to get to when you asked, when do you make that next step? My next step was, I've never had, we've discussed this when we said, just get it done. I'd rather have a horrible day on a set than have a great day.
My worst day on set is still better than my best day anywhere else.
My last shoot was my worst day on a set, and it was my set, and it was because an actress who I was paying, by the way, she double booked the day. She knew it was going to be 8 to 10 hours, and all she did was bitch and complain and talk about me behind my back to everybody else the entire day. And she left early. And had I not been in a pinch, and had I not already, this was day 3 of shooting, had I not already had 2 full days of shooting with her, I would have fired her on the spot.
And I guarantee if you post a casting call on Facebook, she's one of the first people who responds every single time.
Every time.
Even though she was miserable every second
and I'm
on
the worst
set
person.
that day.
I'm the worst person on earth, in the world. And I'm unprofessional, and everything else she said.
But every time you post another casting on Facebook, she's the first one to say, "Hey, I'm there if you need me."
Yep.
Because a lot of people are just fully unaware of how much of a nuisance they can be. How does she forget how miserable she was on set that day? She doesn't forget. She just remembers you gave her $100 for the day to even be there.
Yeah. That's another thing. If you are a director or a financier, it sucks, but sometimes you have to let people know they're not doing their job, and you have to let them go. And this is one scenario where I should have done that, but just because budget constraints, and it was the final day of 3 days of shooting, I just said,
you can't.
You can't go back and reshoot those 3 days.
You can't do that. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't.
Hey, even
I just stuck with it, but that was
one more day. How bad could this really be? That was
the point where I said I need to go from, hey, oh yes, I want to act. Okay, sure. To I'm going to start giving experienced actors money to actually give me a good performance and not complain.
And everybody has that point that they hit.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that point where they're like, "That's it. I'm done with this. I can't keep dealing with this nonsense."
Because your work suffers ultimately.
It does.
And unfortunately,
you're putting money into it.
As a filmmaker, you can't take things. You as a director, filmmaker, financier, producer, whatever you are, you can't take things like that personally.
Oh no, yeah.
Like, you really can't be like, well, you're the shittiest person in the whole world. Like, I can't take that personally, and I literally have to like look at it as a business sometimes. And in that situation, you say, well, I could reshoot everything to replace her, or I just grit my teeth.
That's what I did.
Finish this third day and save myself the time, energy, and hassle of having to reshoot around this girl.
Took 10 minutes,
and I never hire her again.
Calmed down, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like I said, it's kind of a not the greatest story, but that's
everybody has a story like
for
that.
whoever's
Everybody's
listening
got
to this and is going through this right now, which is why we're doing this podcast. This might not happen in a bad way to you, but it's gonna happen in that way where you're gonna be like, I need to take the next step. I can't keep doing this because I have bigger ideas. I want better performances. I want to use different people even, because that's another thing I notice about independent cinema. Say director X, writer director X, and producer X have made 5-10 movies together, but it's the same cast. It's the same people it's the same local people that are in everything for free or do it for next to nothing. And you're just like, it's cool to use your actor friends who do that, but it's the same people.
Nobody's growing.
You're not growing. You're not you're not expanding your horizons as an artist, or even if you just want to make money. Like who's gonna sell the movie where the same actors in the same movie? It's unlike, you're not Quentin Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez who can get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, their regular actors
again,
are like
their regular actors are
Bruce
Bruce
Willis.
Willis.
yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
You know, okay, fine. He's going to keep using Bruce Willis. It's still Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, man. He just keeps putting that guy in there. You know, like Tim Burton. Damn, just keeps using Johnny Depp. Really? This is the complaint you have about the movie? Johnny Depp is just, nope, he's just not doing it for me. Sorry. You know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you had access to use Johnny Depp in every damn one of your movies, you would put him in every
it's
role you
A-listers.
possibly.
It's A and B listers.
Exactly. You're talking about
you're okay. It's okay.
Precisely. You're talking about,
Well, I mean, the
about
other
a
thing
movie
too,
star that's making
somebody
$3
like Johnny
million
Depp,
a movie.
he actually expands. He tries new things, and like, you know.
Yeah, it's Tim Burton who doesn't do new things.
Yeah.
It's him who keeps making the same damn movie.
Tim, I'm sorry, that was not me. I had nothing
It's
to do
Tim
with
Burton
that.
who keeps remaking the same blue movie with big hats.
Tim, I'm available to be a producer and first assistant director.
Hey, look, I don't care. I'll work with you and make all the blue movies in the world you want. Doesn't mean I'm going to watch them when they're done. Johnny Depp doesn't watch his own movies, okay? He hasn't watched one of his own movies in 25 years, so
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move forward, all right? When we're finding these actors, we've put up our casting call now.
Right, we've gotten
right.
our responses. We've chosen the ones that we want to meet with.
What do we do from this point forward now? We know where we're getting our actors pool from. Now what do we do?
Now we're going to
Auditions?
hold auditions/casting calls
Where do you hold auditions?
anywhere. You can hold it anywhere.
That's nonsense. That's nonsense. Because yes, people do hold it anywhere. I've seen people hold auditions in Starbucks.
Oh,
I'm
that's
having an
horrible.
audition
Okay.
at a rec center.
I take it all back.
Uh-huh.
A location that is not a public location.
Non-public location.
A non-public location.
If you're
You
in a
can have it
small
at the
town-
school.
in a private section of a
If
rec
you're in a
center.
small town, you can probably get the school. You can probably
Yeah.
get your local rec center. You can probably get those things.
You know, a lot of libraries and stuff have community rooms that are
Yep.
available to the community. You can get one of those private rooms. You know, even hotels.
Talk
and,
to the actors themselves, especially
Yeah.
if you're getting them from a local theater. Where do you guys rehearse?
Yeah.
Can I use the
ask
stage?
the local theater if you can host it there.
Yeah, you know, we personally we go to Shetler Studios in New York, in out in Manhattan. We go to Shetler Studios. We usually hold our casting calls on a Sunday afternoon, which the
It's cheaper.
room is like $8 or $10 an hour. You know, and it's a place where most actors have damn near every actor in New York has auditioned at Shetler Studios, one of the multiple audition spaces out there. They've all auditioned there, so they all know how to get there. They know the process. Here's one thing you need to do. Have a sign-in sheet.
Yes.
It sounds silly, but do it. Have a sign-in sheet, especially if you're using a shared audition space. They'll have a little table there where you have a sheet that says the name of your production and your director's name or whatever, and a bunch of numbers. So the actor gets there and signs in, so that when you walk out into that room, you know who's there. Okay.
And it tells the actor that they're in the right location.
Yes, they know they're here because especially if you're using a shared space, everybody's sitting in the same waiting room. Okay. How do you know which room you need to go in for the audition? Because sometimes you're there for multiple auditions. You know? All right, I'm going here to them first. I'm going to sign in to them. What?
Was it? Remember when one of our actors? I'm just gonna say, it was
yes.
Roach got pulled into the wrong audition.
Yep, Roach got
And they
pulled
were
into a different
They were
audition.
like, do Shakespeare, and he was like, I'm here for a horror movie.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, he went into the wrong audition room. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens in these shared spaces. It definitely happens. So don't be embarrassed. Hell with it. You're in there. Do your best. You who knows? You never know. You never know what you get out
Another
of it.
thing to do for auditions is, well, this is a given. Set up some sort of social media or email list where you provide everybody who's interested sides of what they're going to read.
Well, on
Okay.
Breakdown Express, you can do that directly.
Okay.
There actually is, and there is a thing where you can post the sides where all the actors will see them. You know, you can do
Also
it that way.
character breakdowns and
Yes,
everything like
that'll
that.
all well from Breakdown Express. You can do it all. It's all there. So that's why I like using that website or these good casting websites.
I mean, one thing is the great debate is if you're going to do sides or if you're going to have them perform a monologue.
Yeah.
I like monologues.
I like them, but the film I'm making right now is kind of rough around the edges, so I don't really know. Like, I've seen monologues, but they're all like villainous and all kinds of stuff. I don't really want that because all the characters are kind of...
Well, see, that's the thing. You tell them what it is you're looking for.
Yeah.
I like using the monologues because what it does is when the actor, okay, we're doing a slasher movie, right? We're doing a slasher movie. And all the actors know they're coming in to audition for a slasher movie. And I tell them, prepare a monologue. Okay? Here's the character you're coming in to audition for. Great. What monologue you choose, because every actor has a comedic, they have a dramatic, they have a romantic. Every actor should have one monologue from every genre.
Prepared.
Okay? Prepared. Known, you should be able to do it in your sleep.
Yep.
All right? What type of monologue you decide to do on the day for this audition tells me what your strengths as an actor are.
Or what you think they are.
Or what you think your strengths are, exactly. Mike Roach came in. He's auditioning for the coroner in the horror film.
He came in for Fincher.
That's right. No, that's right. Yes, he came in for the Detective Fincher.
The lead role, yes.
The lead role. And he did a monologue from Night of the Living Dead. Right off the bat, we said, all right, he's in the right place.
Well, and he was carrying a DX wrestling folder.
He had a DX. Yes,
Where he had his headshot.
He had his headshot in a folder with DX on it, and he had a Misfits t-shirt on.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I'm liking this guy already. He walked in, I like him. All right, his Misfits t-shirt, DX here.
You get us so far.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead monologue. Cool. I'm liking this guy already. We're gelling here. We're good. All right, and then he was really good at it too. Really damn good.
He took direction well.
Yeah, he did. And I said, but you know what? He didn't have the look for Fincher. Didn't have the look for the lead detective.
He's a very long face.
Yeah, he's very. Yes, he had that sharp chin and long faced. And I said, he doesn't look like the lead detective. That's not him. About a week later, the actor that I had cast for the coroner had to drop out of the film because his mother got sick and he had to take care of his little sister at home, Yeah. So he's like, I can't commit to the film. I'm sorry. All right, I already saw this guy. I liked him. I'm calling him and say, hey, we don't have this lead, but the villain in the movie just dropped out. I have the role. Come on back, and we want to talk to you about it and see what you think. I'm going to give you some sides then. My second audition with people, I like to give them sides then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what we're going to do from this point forward, we'll probably end up combining the two. I want to see the monologue, and I want to see some sides. Yeah. So this way we just knock it out. Let's get it done. We'll spend a little bit more time with them.
What we did with Theta, which I think was really, I think we should do from now on, is that we had, Kate was already cast.
Yeah. Kate was cast as Nicole from the beginning.
Yeah. So we brought her into the casting calls with us so that she could read with them and we could see because when they're in a relationship, they're supposed to be a couple that's been in a relationship for a really long time. We wanted to see if there was chemistry.
Yeah.
So, and it's so much better. It gives the actor so much more because usually I'm reading off the scripts and usually they're bound because he's the director, he needs to be able to see them.
Yes, if you're the director, do not read with your actor.
No.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
I'm not telling you. I'm just looking at you because you're in front of me. There's an audience here.
And I in no way.
And what does it do?
I in no way, in shape or form, claim that I am an actor, and them having to act off of me, I feel terrible for them. But I'm the best choice out of me and Louise.
Yeah. I feel as a director, don't read. A lot of directors do, if it's your choice. But I feel as a director, don't read with your actors.
No, I don't like doing that
because I want to be able to see them. I don't want to sit there. I've done it once or twice where I've sat there and I've had to read the lines to them, and I'm so busy reading the lines and trying to give them something to work off of. I'm not actually paying attention to what they're doing and how they're responding. I want to see their body language. I want to see how they do things. I want to see their facial expressions. I want to see and I'm busy looking at the script, making sure that I don't screw them up.
Yeah. No, I definitely know that on my end. And
yes.
Anybody
so we had Kate come in and do those with the if you can have
For my
another
audition,
actor.
I'm having the lead actor come in, and I don't.
And you
have,
don't even have to do that. Even if you don't have anybody cast, if you know somebody who can act decently, who can just come in like, hey man, I want you to read with my actors. Cool. At least have somebody designated to do just that, so that person can focus on actually giving the other actor something to feed off of, so that you can actually see a performance from them and get a good idea of what it is that they can bring to your movie.
Yeah,
Oh, so I had a question for
this
you.
is my first actual audition, so it's like new to me as well. So
Well, let's see. There you go. Again, we're all at the beginning of this here. That's
yeah,
We're all at the beginning here.
You had said having your character descriptions written, and I wanted to talk about that.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Well, I mean, to me,
What don't you know? Just talk. Just talk.
to me, as part of as a producer, pre-production is my bread and butter, and I love it because my answer will always be pre-production. As part of pre-production, I think it's really important as a filmmaker for you to know your characters, and these character descriptions are really great ways of understanding your character. Your actor will have questions, and not just in the audition. They're going to have it on the set. Like, we had. In Blood, Slaughter, Massacre, we had a couple that were broken up, but they had a child together. And the first day that we shot with the two of them, they had a lot of questions about their relationship. What ended the relationship? Were they friendly towards each other? And they had a bunch of questions about the relationship, and we had to know those answers on set, because if you're struggling to figure that out, and you're on set the day of, it's already way too late. Because it's such that, like, say something like that is such an important, it's going to drive their relationship for the rest of the movie. And if you don't know that answer, you're going to be in shit ton of trouble. Because if you make the one bad decision on set because of time and because you didn't think ahead, then you can literally ruin entire two characters and their relationship.
it's I have to add to that, the movie I'm doing now, I pegged an actor for the lead. Now, you said when you were casting for Blood Slaughter, the one actor, the coroner, the person who played the coroner, Mike, he didn't have the look for the lead.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, while I do have specifics of the characters in my head of what they're supposed to look like, an actor we both worked with on Brain People and on another project for me, I asked him, I'm like, I have a lead role. I know that he doesn't specifically look like the type I was thinking of in my head, but I knew that he was the choice I wanted because I've seen him act. Yeah. And even though this is a demanding lead role, I knew he could pull off the look I wanted specifically because he's actually like a cosplayer. Yeah. Like, he goes around the country and cosplays. Yeah. So I knew he'd get the look. But what surprised me was that, because I've only seen him do like side work, he's only had lines once that I've seen. So I was impressed by the little bit I saw, and we met up, and I said, all right, this is the deal with this character. He's flawed. He's yearning for his fiance that he lost, and I gave him the script, and he really liked the script, and he's like, well, what's my motivation? And I said, I'm going to give you my first movie that I wrote because this character's in that. I want you to read it. That's your motivation. And then he called me 2 days later, and he was like, holy shit, that's a lot to process, but I'm working on it now. And he said, I'm working on it now. And then we just keep in close contact of what we want. We have a meeting next week, actually, of this recording, and I'm working really hard with him because I want him to carry the film, even though he might not necessarily look leading man material to some people. Like, I know he can do what I want. Yeah, and sometimes artistically, like, looks carry most films for actors and actresses. I understand that. We all understand that.
It's a visual medium.
Yes.
If they're not, I'm sorry.
I know you're going to disagree with me.
No, it sucks to say it. It's a visual medium. If they're not something to fit that role, your your viewers just can't connect with it. They have to physically fit the role.
Well, physically he can.
Oh no, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know I know. We're just trying not to drop too many names, but
But I mean, interestingly enough, for Blood Slaughter, when we did the casting call, we had the writer Louis was in the room with us when we did the casting calls, and it's always good to have three, have odd numbers because there's always somebody who can break the tie.
Yeah. I hear you.
Which is how we've always done it.
Yeah.
So when we had the Finchers come in, there was one Fincher that came in who was very heroic. He was very broad. We nicknamed him Brolic.
Yeah.
He had the chin and he
Should've
had
named
the,
him Rouse
the
Dower.
muscles and he was a very heroic, in-fit man.
Yeah, he was tall too.
Yeah, he was tall.
He was tall. He was
a big
tall,
guy.
Yeah, he kind of.
So he was the Channing Tatum. Got it.
No.
no.
Like, what's his name from Walking Dead? With the baseball
Reedus?
bat.
Oh, Negan? So
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan-ish?
Yes, Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dean Morgan without the beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that kind of look. The guy from Mad Men kind of look.
Oh, John Hamm? Okay.
Yes, like that
So
kind of
chiseled chin,
very,
like
very
Superman
man,
looking?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
and this
very
5
man.
o'clock shadow, very
Yes.
manly. That's why we named him
Yes,
Brolic.
he's a very
He was
manly
brolic.
looking guy. Like this is a guy.
Yeah.
This is a man, and that's what he looked. He looked that way. Looked heroic.
So he would be a formidable opponent for the Ripper.
precisely.
And then Matt came in, and he's baby faced, smooth, no beard. He's a little smaller,
Softer
he's
features.
softer features.
A much more emotional look to his face. And
Yeah.
it was a matter of
He was
what do
much
we
more of a
want?
sympathetic looking
Yeah.
character or man.
Yeah, and from that point, we looked at it and said, well,
And those were our two favorites.
Yes.
When at the end of the day, those were our two favorites, and it was quite a debate between the three of us.
sitting there, we're now debating what direction do we want to take the movie in. Do we want this badass hero, this guy who's going to get it?
Schwarzenegger,
Not Schwarzenegger. He's not that big, but
No.
we want somebody who's tough and hard looking. Somebody who looks like when this Ripper comes up against him, he's going to help. He's going to give him a run for his money. He's going to kick this guy's ass. Like the Ripper's got no chance against this guy. Or do we want somebody who looks like the underdog? Do we want someone who's going to be able to? I mean, not saying that this other actor couldn't emote. I'm sure
No.
he could.
Yeah.
But Matt had that look already, that he was already very emotional look. We're talking about a detective who's got 15 years of alcoholism behind him, who's got a wife who just left
Who's
him. and
haunted
took-
from his past.
yeah.
And, yeah.
He's got a wife who just left him and took their 7-year-old child with her. Somebody who's broken, beaten down, life has just shit all over him, and he's going to wash it away in a bottle. And this big dude just didn't have that look. But that's what we were debating. What do we want? Do we want a tough guy, or do we want this broken down
The flawed
detective?
man that was in the script.
Yeah. What do we want?
That's why I picked who I picked for this lead role, actually, because the other lead male that I have cast already, he's tall, super attractive. He's actually gay and very effeminate in person, but holy shit, can he deliver? Like, he's playing a womanizing chauvinist pig in my movie, and he's incredible at that. But he could be the lead. He's tall, imposing. He's got that similar look that you're describing this other actor. But the way I had the character written was bratty, rich kid with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
And the dad character was supposed to be a tall, big, muscular guy, and the mom was a small, meek woman.
Yeah.
And Derek Rivers in Pandemonia was smaller and thin and not super built and heroic, and his dad was. And his sister character was tall and not built, but bigger than him, and she always picked on him. So that's why I went with the smaller. Not smaller because the actor's he's over 6 foot, but he just has that like little brother look.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I wanted. So it goes against the marrying yourself to a character, but like I said, I'm already working with the actor to make sure we pull off what I want.
See, so I think when you're coming up with an idea for the character, it's not like you're imagining he has blonde hair and blue eyes. And,
No, he just fit what I wanted.
Yeah, no, in your head you'll have a vision of what that is, but you're really more creating their personalities.
Like you said, you can't be married to that vision.
Yeah, and you can't.
no.
I mean, we've had
The idea I was married to, but not the actual face.
the
or
face.
body
Yeah, the
type.
face is absolutely adjustable. I mean, we've had roles where we've really like switched an entire, characters.
We had for Blood Slaughter, we had the two detectives.
Yeah.
And Lethal Weapon, the Mel Gibson's character was it was an influence on Fincher's character. Okay, and we knew that it was going to be a partner. It was going to be partners. It was going to be the one kind of broken loose cannon versus the other straight laced guy.
By the book guy.
But
Yeah.
by the book guy. And I specifically said, well, we're already basing it on Mel Gibson. You know, we're already basing it on Martin Riggs a little bit, and we're basing it
So you
on.
wanted Murtaugh?
Well, wait a minute. No,
No.
we're basing it on Brad Pitt in Seven. I didn't want to put him with a black partner because these are already the references for
Yeah.
the character, and both those characters have black partners. And I said, I don't want to do that. It's too obvious. It's too on the nose.
I mean, especially his name is Fincher. It's like,
And his name is Fincher, which is he's named after David Fincher from, because it was Seven. I wanted him dressed like Brad Pitt in Seven and act like the broken part of Martin Riggs. That's what I wanted, but I said we can't give him a black partner. It's too obvious, the reference. But then the actor who got the role, he sent in his headshot and he just had this look on his face.
oh, he looked like Carl Winslow.
Yeah. So he looked like a cop already. And then he came into the audition and he did a medical
Yeah.
monologue. He sounded like House
Yeah.
without the accent. So now we're sitting here looking at this 6'3"
Gigantic.
gentleman, very big. He was a linebacker.
he was a
He was a
linebacker.
linebacker in college. So he's 6'3", tall dude, bulking. Good size on him. In his 50s, got a little bit of gray in his hair, a little bit of gray in his beard. Very well spoken. Imposing, standing up straight. But he's black, and I said, but he's got the look.
Yeah.
Like it worked. It just worked. And I said, as much
Plus,
as
it was a good foil to Fincher.
as much as I didn't want that just physical look of those two characters, because it's done the white bad cop with the black good cop. It's so often
Overdone.
done. I just didn't want to do it again. But you know what? He came in and he nailed it.
Nailed it.
I was like, you're perfect. You're everything we want in the role. Maybe because we saw the Morgan Freeman and the Danny Glover in him. Maybe we saw that in him a little bit, but he did it so well. I was like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. To hell with what we were thinking of just not doing it for the sake of the reference. Fuck it. Look, you're doing it. You did it great. You got the role. Period. You got
Man,
it.
Byron got it right away.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
nailed it right
Nailed
away.
it right away.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I don't care what I thought. You're going to be great. You're going to be great with it.
There's a role I had to recast for this film recently where the audition I'm doing that's for one of the 3 roles I need. I had a picture of, because I had an actress that was supposed to do it and that kind of fell through. So I had her in my head the whole time. So now
Yeah.
I have to take that out.
Okay.
And just open slate it again. Yeah. So it's a bit rough sometimes when you are. That's the problem with recasting, which I think we should talk about because it does happen.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of covered auditions and how to do, and, different methods of doing auditions. Then,
Always
when you're doing
another
when you're doing
important thing,
audition,
bring a
yeah.
camera.
Yes,
a
bring a
camcorder
camera
or something,
Bring
yeah.
a camera so that you
So you
can
can go
see
over,
what
yeah.
they look like on camera too. Because what they look like in person, what they look like on camera, are going to have 2 different looks. So make sure you bring a camera and you tell them when they walk in, "I'd like to videotape this if you are comfortable with it." Sometimes you even have an actress. You know what? You nailed it, or actor, actress, whatever, nailed it. I want you. You're going to be. I don't even want you to come back for a second audition. You're perfect.
Yeah.
So then what you do right then and there, you have the camera, you take your pictures of them, take a bunch of pictures of them, send it to your makeup artist right then and there. So your makeup artist can now take that picture and find what color palette of makeup they're going to need for that actor, and your makeup artist is already prepped for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
And a lot
what
of
we
times,
do.
like our makeup artists, I mean, especially for Blood Slaughter, because it was an 80s piece. It was supposed to take place in the 80s. We had built an entire reference portfolio.
And bright makeup, bright
Yeah.
colors. So we had to be very specific with the palettes. If you're going to put blue on an actress who's got caramel skin, makeup artist has to know so she gets the proper shade of blue
Yeah.
for that tone of skin.
Yeah.
And your costume designer has to know it too. especially Byron. He's very dark skinned. Okay.
Yeah.
I could not put him in a dark shirt because he's just in dark night scenes. We have a lot of scenes at night. It's going to disappear if we have poor lighting, which happens.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes your lighting just isn't doing it. Now his shirt, his neck, his face is one dark spot because you screw up your camera settings sometimes, or sometimes the lighting's not hitting him. So many different
Sometimes
things.
you adjust the camera
Yeah.
and you're on the fly and you forget to change.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just happens. Sometimes you're looking through that little viewfinder and everything looks great. Then you put it on your screen. And it's like, this looks horrible. You know, or like we had the one scene, we were lighting the whole scene. We lit the scene. We had one light underneath them and the actual lights of the porch up above them. And they're wearing wide brimmed hats.
Yeah.
So he's got a light directly on top of him, and that hat is putting a shadow directly on his dark skin.
Yep.
I remember that.
Ruined it. The whole shot, and it looked in the viewfinder, it looked fine. We saw it, everything looked good. But when you take that image and you crush it down to 3 inches, every little bit of light looks a little bit brighter and everything looks great. But once you blow it back up, that little bit of light stretches out across your whole screen, and now he's too dark. And it looks terrible, you know. So I had to give him white after we did that scene. The other scenes I had to make sure that he had because it was a beige, it was a dark tan shirt that he had. I had to make sure he always had a white shirt on underneath to reflect some more light onto him. Because honestly, some people, their skin is just very dark. On the opposite spectrum, you have some people with their complexion is so pale.
That's me.
You can't hit them with light or you lose all features of their face and they just glow on screen.
And they have that like shiny skin thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know, and they just glow on screen. So then you have to learn to diffuse your light when you're around them. And your makeup artist has to put certain makeup on them so they don't lose their features in the light.
I first found out about that local actress that's no longer with us, Cheryl. You remember Cheryl,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were doing a behind the scenes with her because it was her first film, and you know she was super excited. She's like, "Oh, make sure we have the camera this way," and I was like, "The shot was terrible, that way," and I was like, well, "Why not this way?" She's like, "Oh, because my skin is always oily and I have shiny head," and I'm like, I didn't even know what she was talking about at that time. So she told me everything about the skin complexion with the lighting and stuff. So we just turned everything around and shot it the other way where she looked fine. But that was the first time I ever...
If you don't have a makeup artist, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a makeup artist, they know how to fix that.
Yep.
Makeup artists will know how to...
makeup artists will look inside of your camera and they'll do a real quick...
Yep.
You know, when you cut, your makeup camera will fight their
Makeup
way to the
artists
very front. And you'll see like a little duck as they look.
Suddenly look into the camera. All right, good. They look good. And they walk away.
Yeah.
Your makeup artist will constantly be trying to find a monitor. Because the truth is, as the makeup artist, if your actor looks bad on screen, that's their fault. And that looks bad on them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just you and your camera guy and your lighting guy or your actor. It's your makeup artist too. If their complexion, suddenly they're oily in one scene and they're not oily in another, your makeup artist was slacking.
I actually
And that's it. Everybody
have to
sees
color
it.
correct a blood splatter because the lighting hit off it pretty badly.
That happens too.
Yep.
But I didn't have a monitor.
So what were we talking about? Recasting you wanted to
Yes,
get into?
recasting.
Recasting.
Yes. Well, you guys are more... Like I pretty much said my thing just
I
now.
honestly have not recast anybody. I have not had to not while shooting.
No.
Not while shooting.
In pre, yeah.
Yes,
but
I've
not-
had people that I've recast in pre. Yes, I have. Sometimes they're just not going to work out, and sometimes, like you said, you got an actor or an actress who's just too difficult to work with, and you know what? For the betterment of the film, you have to recast them. I've had 2 people in my past, and I'm not going to name them. I have 2 actors that I've worked with in the past where had I been able to get the locations again and afford the shoots again, even after the 3rd day shooting with them, I still would have recast them because they were such a pain to work with.
We did have no shows.
Yeah.
That's happened to me.
We've had
a
people
lot.
who just didn't show up and we had to recast them on set. Yes, I've done that.
Yeah.
But I had two actors specifically, one in each movie, that I will never work with them again. You know? Because not because they have bad attitudes or it's just they're just too much on set. I can't handle it. They slow the set down. They knock things into upheaval. You know, they take a lot on themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I hear you.
They take a lot of attention, and it's like, you know what? No, I don't have time for that. I just don't have time for that. We have too many things that we have to do. I cannot devote half my day to dealing with your problems and the things that are, I just can't do it.
Yeah,
you know?
I had an actress, the lead actress of my party shoot that one day. She canceled 45 minutes before shoot.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, what am I going to do now? Because that's another thing that I'm getting to with this story is I was such in a panic. I had to post on Facebook and be like, hey, guess what, everybody? My lead actress just canceled on me and I have a shoot in 45 minutes. I was already there prepping. And she's like, yeah, I can't make it. I'm like, what? I'm like, I was paying this
That
actress
sucks.
for the day. She's like, yeah, I can't
Well,
make
guess
it.
who you'll never be working with again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess who comments whenever I post something on Facebook
Exactly.
about the movie?
Always.
Yep.
Always. The people you don't want are the first ones.
I'm ready to work.
That's why
I'm
I
ready to
never-
act for you.
I
I'm like,
never
yeah,
post
okay.
on Facebook when I need an actor.
You know showed 45 minutes
Yeah.
beforehand. So I was like, all right. So I post on Facebook, I need an actress right now. It's a lead role, blah, blah, blah. Luckily, a friend of mine, Carla, she came. I never met the girl before. My normal special effects guy came through and said, oh, this girl, she's done commercials and this and that. I was like, oh, okay. She did commercials for NJ Transit and Metro, New York, whatever. And so she came in and she had pink hair and looked nothing like what I wanted, but I just didn't have time. And she killed it acting wise. She didn't have the look that I wanted because originally the character was supposed to be a djinn.
Okay.
So she was supposed to look very, not exotic, but kind of. Originally, the part was supposed to be played by a porn star who had infinite tattoos and looked the role, looked like what you'd think maybe a djinn would look like if you're going by like supernatural lore or whatever. And then she couldn't do it because she moved to Los Angeles. So like, I replaced her with this other actress who kind of looked like, and we were going to put her in some makeup and do like fake tattoos and stuff. And she canceled 45 minutes in, and so I got Carla, and I just said no tattoos, none of that, and she hit it out of the park, thankfully.
Cool.
And the point is, she actually got more roles from me for showing up and being good, and she did really good in those other roles too.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it was a blessing in disguise, but that's one of the only times I ever had to like on the spot recast somebody.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen that often, fortunately, unless you're working with friends.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody who's not...
This was a paid actress,
Exactly.
though,
For someone like that.
so it does
to do that,
happen.
Yeah. I haven't had that many. I've had people who no-showed on us once or twice, but they weren't huge. We had one actor who had to come back for a day to film his death scene. And called and nothing. Didn't hear anything from him. Didn't know where he was. Didn't even know if he was getting the messages. Called him, texted him, Facebooked, everything. Didn't hear from him at all. So we had to rewrite his entire scene, and we had to put another actor in his clothes. Yeah.
I know this story.
Yeah,
but, just
we
for
had
sake of
to put another
podcast,
actor in his clothes, and we had to have that. And thankfully, he had finished his scene, and we had already shot the one scene where he leaves the room, and then he was gonna go out and die elsewhere, and we were gonna have him get killed there. So we had to have an actor put on his costume. We had to do makeup to change his skin tone to match him a little bit. We had to put a wig on him to match his hair. We had to give him the whole thing so he looked like the same character. And we had him walk by in the background so you physically see him walk out. Because we didn't even see him leave. He left the one room. We didn't see him pass the other characters in the back. We had to have him walk past and walk out of the house. Okay? And then we had to write an entirely different death scene because his death scene was a transition from one portion of the film to another. So it was gonna, we had to remove create an entirely different transition now with another character. And then we just find this one dead later. Thankfully, it's a slasher film. So, yeah, we get it. He walked out the house. The killer found him, killed him. We didn't have to see him die. But again, we had to take that other actor in the costume, and we had to lay him face down in the dirt so that we could just get a shot of the dead body at some point and somebody discovering the dead body.
Yeah.
You know, again, thankfully it's a slasher, so it's all right. We didn't have to do. We didn't need too much out of it.
I had to
but
explain quasi
we've done
slasher
that.
logic
yeah,
last night. It was not fun.
Oh, it's a little.
But why does this happen? Because movie logic. Why
Because
does
it's a movie.
Why didn't they do that? Because it's 1980 and movie logic.
Yeah,
Why did she run that way instead of leaving in the
'Cause
Jeep
it's a
with the
movie.
dead body? Because
it's a movie.
Friday the 13th.
That's it. So,
Yeah,
I
now
think,
where should we say, for the people listening, say they use the Friends and they move past that? My suggestion to anybody listening is take some money when you get an experienced actor, pay your actors.
Yeah.
Especially if you need to hire a female that does nudity, you have to pay them. There's
yes,
no ifs,
absolutely.
ands, or buts about
That's
it.
one big thing. If you have a female doing nudity, even a male, anybody doing nudity, pay them. Period.
Yeah.
I do not do, and when we do a lot of nude scenes in our films, we do lots of nude scenes. I have not had a single actress do nudity for us that did not walk out without a paycheck in their pocket. There's also another thing when it comes to paying people, this is another subject. We weren't planning on getting to this, but paying people. You come up with something beforehand and you make an agreement with them and stick to that goddamn agreement.
Yep.
Even if you have to take the money out of your own personal, go to the ATM, take it out yourself and pay them, do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure it's set up beforehand. Contracts,
agree to it, sign it. Yes. And we've done things before where they get money in the beginning and they get more in the end. They get half of it. We agree to a set amount. We give them half up front and half at the end. No, don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Not a fan anymore.
It's good to do. I mean, it's fine. A lot of people are fine doing that. That's no problem. But everyone, as the movie goes on and it gets longer and things get more grueling and difficult to do, everyone feels better at the end of the day when they walk out with money in their pocket. So, even if it's $20 so that they can get back on the train or cross that bridge again or fill up their tank of gas, anything you can give your actors and crew at the end of the day, anything will make them happy to come back. Feed your people too. Feed them. Even if you
And
can't,
make sure they don't have to piss on a tree.
yes.
Or
Feed
use
them
use a page of the
bathrooms.
script for the bathroom.
Treat them like human beings. Give them something at the end of the day, even if it's a travel stipend, even if it's a Metro card for them to get home and come back to your set on another day. Something. Give
Ultimately,
them
yeah.
something. In the end, what we've learned, no one should have to spend money or lose
It
money.
shouldn't cost them anything to
Cost
help
them
you.
anything to be on your set.
Yeah, it's your movie.
Yes.
So treat it as your
It
movie.
shouldn't cost them anything.
So yeah, you want to pay people.
Yeah. Again, if they're taking the train in, fine. Give them a $10 Metro card. Get them whatever, $10. Give them the $10 Metro card, and they'll be happy that they didn't even have to pay for the train. You know, some people will just be like, "No, I don't know. What is it? It's $3. Whatever. No big deal. It's no." You're right. It's no big deal. But here, take it anyway. That gesture goes really far.
I paid an actor once, and I paid no one else that day because they all knew they were doing it for free. But I gave one actor $20 just to fill his tank up because he had a brand new kid and he was on a time crunch. And I said, "Hey, here you go." And he's like, "Oh no, it was free." I was like, "Nah, take it." And he calls me every time for roles, and it's not just because I gave him the $20, but it's just because it was a token of gratitude
Yes.
for
Yeah.
having his time when he has a newborn.
Yeah, you were
so.
considerate enough to think about him and what he's spending to be there.
Yeah.
You know, what it takes for him to be there. And you don't have much money, and he knows you don't have much money because he's not doing this for the money. But the fact that you give him enough money, because you know what, that $20 for his gas tank could buy diapers.
Yeah.
That's a pack of diapers to put on his, and he's losing a pack of diapers to be on your set for the day. You
Yeah.
never know what these people,
What somebody's circumstances are.
Exactly. You don't know what people are setting aside or sacrificing to be on your set.
I mean,
always
myself-
assume that they're sacrificing something.
Myself, not to get too personal, but besides the money I have saved up for my film, I'm putting everything I have into it, and that's just myself. So like that's why I'm hiring the best possible people that I can find. You know, that's why for anybody listening, That's why if it's coming out of your pocket, or if it's, say you have a backer who's like a family member or just somebody worse along, say it's an actual financial backer who's like, my money is time. I need I want you to get the best actors, the best actresses. I want the best possible thing.
Yeah.
You
To
know,
get the best possible product.
yeah, like just give everybody everything you can.
Yeah. So, what would be post-production?
Well, I mean, I think we had said that, or yeah, we were gonna do, instead of a post-production this episode, we were gonna do a little advice for actors who are looking to get into
Okay.
horror movies.
All right. What do we got?
So
Yeah, we're talking horror movies. We make horror movies, so we're going to talk from the perspective of horror
primarily,
movie
yes.
directors.
yeah, so if you're looking to audition for a horror movie, there's a couple of things that'll make you golden. Like we said earlier with Mike Roach, if you're asked for a monologue, prepare something that's from a horror movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really important to the horror industry for you to have an understanding of the
What we
history
do.
of horror and what we do. I mean, something simple as like Mario just said, I had explained slasher logic.
Yeah.
It's like if you go in, you know what a final girl is, slasher logic,
This is going to go so much nicer.
yeah.
Yeah, I auditioned for one movie, an entirely different movie once, and one actress came in and said, one of the actresses, actually I had auditioned a couple different actresses, and I used them all since then. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Actors need to realize that just because you didn't get the role on this, remember that producers and directors, they save your info. If they liked you, they save it, and they will contact you again. We did an audition for a film, an entirely different film. We weren't producing it. I was working on their film, and I was directing on that, and I sat in on the auditions. And so a bunch of actresses. One of them was Kate, and we've used her twice since then. Another one was this actress, Ashley Bloom.
Yeah.
And I loved her. I thought she was great. So when we were doing auditions, she didn't work out for that film, but when we were doing auditions for ours, I didn't even audition her. I said I liked her, period.
Yeah. Darlene was the same way, right?
Darlene, yes. No, Darlene came in for Blood Slaughter.
Oh, you're right. She did
Yes.
come in for blood.
Darlene came in for Blood Slaughter, and she was very energetic, and but it's like she just didn't fit the role that it was. She didn't fit what we want, but we said, you know what, I have something else. I'll use you for that, and that's awesome. But Ashley was for an entirely different film, and when we left with all the headshots and took them, I said, you know what, this girl was great. Let's use her. Kayla Ferguson was another one.
Yeah.
She was also for that. She was also for that movie, and Kayla had worked with Trauma before, and I said, I want this girl. She's worked with Trauma. She's worked in the worst damn possible conditions imaginable.
Yeah.
She's worked for no money or nothing. This girl understands horror.
Yeah.
So I want her on set, and we gave her a set. We gave her a scene, and she was great too.
Yeah.
So remember that, actors. If just because you didn't get the role on this doesn't mean you're not going to get it on something else. And people, we keep the contact info.
I have, unfortunately, because I'm not spiteful, but I don't hold grudges either. But I just remember when people do bad things or don't show up or say one thing and do another.
Oh, absolutely. We have a folder. We have a folder of people who no showed on casting calls.
Yep.
Yeah,
And if you no show, no call me, you're going right in that folder, and we're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you'll never call you again.
Yeah.
Not to be negative about it, but I remember that, so I always know who not to use. But I don't burn bridges, because sometimes I said early on, this one actress I had a fight with, I would never work with her ever again. But then later on, I realized, oh, she's perfect for the role. Fuck it, let me ask her if she's available. And she was like, yeah, I'd love to do it, and this and that. And we settled on...
I was a dick once, and I trolled an actor. He was so belligerent and so condescending in his emails. I had him come in just to waste his day. There was no way I was going to work with this guy, but I gave him a moment to let him come in, and I let him audition. I let him do his monologue, and I said, "Okay, thank you. Have a nice day." And that was it.
No notes, no comments,
Nothing. Just because he was such an asshole in the emails. He was so completely
He was very
full of
nasty.
He was very, very full of himself. He was so upset that I had given him a monologue, and I wasn't, yes, I gave him a monologue. I wasn't respecting him as an actor enough to give him sides for it. I said, everybody's doing a monologue. And he was so rude about it. About who the hell are like who the fuck is this guy? I've never heard of him. I'd never seen any movies he was in. Never seen a damn thing. But he needs to get. So I gave him sides, even though nobody else was doing sides. I gave him some sides. I let him come in. I let him read them, and I said, "Okay, thank you. Have a nice day." And I let him go. Well, do you have any notes? No, I don't have any. No, we're good. No, thank you. I have your information. If
We'll get back to you. Yeah.
we'll get back to you, and that's it. And that was a horrible thing for me to do. That was horrible.
Yeah.
That was horrible. But he annoyed me so much, and he went back and forth on this email. This was like 3 or 4 emails we went through, and each one of the emails he sent me had to be 3 or 4 paragraphs each. And he just went on and on and on, and I'm like, you want this role. He was like, I really love horror films, and I love and I love making them, and I put everything I have into them, and blah blah blah, and all this nonsense. And it was like, you're really not selling me on putting you in this movie, but you're selling me on wanting to piss you off. So I wasted his day, and you know what? Karma's gonna get back at me for being that much of an. But you know what? Maybe I was karma giving him a bitch slap. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the fact is, remember that, actors, this is a job interview. And if you want the job, you have to play to the boss.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do what the boss wants. You can't insult the boss.
Especially when they're offering you money.
We're not being, yes, exactly. Your chances are you're getting paid for this.
You're getting paid to do what you want to do.
Which is something else. You know what? That's something else I wanted to, we did say we wanted to talk about. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask your actors to work for free. If you cannot afford them, and that's true, you can't. Sometimes some people can't afford them.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be ashamed to say, hey, I don't have any money. When you put your casting call in there, make sure you say, if you can't pay them, make sure they know this up front.
Yeah.
So the people who are applying for it understand this is a free gig. And when they're coming in for this free gig, they understand there's no money here, that there's nothing, and that they're doing it strictly for, and then when you get to set, you go out of your way to do everything you can to make sure they know they're appreciated. Again,
feed them,
then make sure you have food, make sure you have bathrooms, make sure you have heat. If you're shooting in the winter, you have jackets for them, or do anything. Even if you have a warm car, if you're shooting outside, there's one of your friends has a minivan. Give your friend $30 to fill up the gas and have the minivan running with heat in it in between takes. Everybody can jump in the van and warm up. Something as simple as that will go so far in making your actors happy. If they're doing this for free, do anything you can to make them comfortable. Don't push your luck with them.
Also, another thing.
Well, no, but I was going to say that too. But you also can realize this is a barter and trade business. It's in the beginning. So if you have an actor that you really would like and you really can't pay him, offer to edit their reel. Offer to shoot some scenes.
There's my karma bomb right there, actually. I hate admitting this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I really... An actor kind of conned me out of extra money, and he wants footage for his reel, and I'm taking my sweet-ass time giving it to him because he conned me out of $40 extra, and he did it like maliciously. It wasn't even like it was, oh hey, I spent extra money and here's the receipts. He was like, oh yeah, I spent extra money and you should give it to me right now. And I was like, oh, I should give it to you right now. And I was like, do you have the receipt? No. I was like, yeah. Really? And that was my learned experience. Another thing kind of ties into all that.
Yeah, talking about that too. One thing actors should definitely realize too is that no filmmaker and filmmakers who really should not do this, don't send footage that isn't completely done.
Oh, yes. You want footage for your reel? If the director or the editor, whomever it is you're speaking to, says the movie's not done yet, no, you can't have the footage. You cannot have the footage until it's done. Don't ask for unfinished footage. It's not color corrected. It may not be edited completely. The sound may be bad. There may be no audio. There may be no music onto it. If it's incomplete, all it's going to do is hurt your reel.
Yep.
So when you finish shooting a film, don't call them 2 weeks later and say, "Hey, can I get some of the footage for my reel?" No.
This guy did that as well.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's nothing against you or your reel. It's nothing against you. It's the fact that other people are now going to see your reel. And me as a director, this is my movie. Other people are going to see your reel, and they're
In
going
the
to judge
industry, people in the industry
Industry.
are going to see your
Yeah.
reel.
your possible casting agents, your possibly your manager, other producers are going to see this footage on your reel, and they're going to judge me and my film based on that, and then they're going to judge you and the roles you choose based on that.
So everybody loses.
Exactly. So if they tell you the footage is not complete, all right, I'll wait. Wait. Just wait. Now, if you've been waiting 2-3 years for this damn footage, dude, put my damn scenes together because I worked for
Yeah.
credit and I have not gotten my credit yet.
Yeah.
You got the footage. I haven't gotten my credit. Put my scene together, finish it, and give it to me.
Yeah.
All right. There is a cutoff point where it's like, you know what? Eventually, okay, maybe the movie's not out yet, but is it at least done being edited? Or 3 years later, you still haven't edited this damn thing? All right, just give me my footage and I'll have it edited myself.
Yeah.
That's what I offered this
Yeah.
actor. I'm like, you can have unedited footage, and I'm taking no responsibility because I will put a disclaimer up saying that this is
I
not done.
wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't
No.
even give him unfinished footage. No.
I'm not. That's
No.
the whole point.
I did it. I did it on Blood Slaughter because it took a while. There were two of our actors who were going for big roles. You know, yeah, two of them were going for big roles on networks. You know, so they needed finished footage, and they said, "Look, I really need it." So I put in the next 2 weeks, and finished one scene for this one and one scene for. I finished 2 scenes. I said, "All right, this is done." And I just gave it to them, just kindly. I said, "Look, you really need it. This is a big job for you. You know, if you need, they need to know what your most recent work is, and it was this film. Fine." I went out of my way to make sure I finished the scenes for them. You know, in the end, I ended up making changes to those scenes anyway, but they both got the gigs regardless.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah. Also, actors, you're going to hear no a lot. Mm-hmm. So be prepared for that. As filmmakers, I have this really bad personality flaw where I stay loyal to people that help me out, even when it's not really helping me out.
Yeah.
So I have a problem telling people no sometimes, but I've quickly learned to change that. So you're going to hear no on both
Yeah.
ends, filmmaking wise and acting wise. You're going to get a lot of rejection. But like Manny said before, say I have an actor or actress that comes to my audition and doesn't fit anything I have. Say the next role I have requires someone with that body type or someone with their ability with whatever monologue I provided or they brought in. Say, you know, I'll just call you back and be like, hey, I have a perfect thing for you. I've seen your work. I've seen what you do. And,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
Some other little tidbits I want to add, which kind of
Go ahead.
relates to that, is, you know, when you have a headshot or something, put everything that makes you kind of interesting and special on that thing. You know, I can't even tell you how many casting calls we've done, and I see the word Muppet or puppet on that headshot, I
Yep.
get super excited. You know, so you have no
does.
idea what's gonna grab somebody's attention.
Yeah, anything little unique that you do. I play the harmonica.
Yeah.
Really? Maybe the director plays the harmonica, and oh no, you play the harmonica. That's really cool. You've made a connection.
And that's the point. I mean, that when these
You
casting
made a
calls, you're
connection
looking
with
to
them.
make a connection to the person in charge.
Like
of
you said,
casting.
Roach walked in. He had a Misfits T-shirt on and a DX folder. Just looking at him, I said, "This is my kind of guy right here. This is my kind of guy. I can get along with this guy. You know, we listen to the same music. We like the same wrestling. Awesome. Let's do this. You know."
I can hang out with this guy. I could
can
put up
hang
with
out-
this guy for a
exactly.
couple hours. Yeah.
Precisely. So it works.
I have an actress who's coming to my audition. She's kind of like that. She's very spunky and sporadic and definitely fun to talk to, at least in the correspondence we've had. So hopefully she kind of fits any of the roles, because I'd love to have her on there, at least for that aspect.
Another thing is learn stage combat. You know, that's great if you know how to take a bump or you know how
Especially
to
for
fight
horror
a little
movies,
bit,
yes.
especially for
Oh,
horror
yeah.
movies. Super,
Yes,
it's a
if
super
you can
great
be physical,
skill.
yep.
If you can take a clothesline from a 6'10" dude,
Yep.
you're definitely
you
in
don't-
my
you
book.
don't have to get that
all right,
crazy.
That might be a little. Here's something. I said this. We say this in joking, but it's true. If you have a car, say so. Especially
Yes.
with indie films.
Yes.
If you have a car, say so in your audition. Just bring it up at some point. So I was driving. Oh, you have a car? Suddenly now
You have a license? You have a
suddenly
car?
now you are a mode of transportation. You are more than just an actor. You are someone who can help them get their scenes in film, get their day done easier. If you can pick up people, if you are willing to pick people up
Even
on
better.
the way to set, oh my God, you are the greatest thing ever.
I did that on my last one.
Yeah. If you are able
Half
to
of the
do
people
that,
were from Philly, so they all carpooled in one shot.
there you go. If you know, if you're an actor and you are willing to help out and add an extra car to the, you are a godsend, and they will be amazed. They will worship you. I've had actors who have done that. I've also had friends who drive, who I've had them literally just drive people to set, then sit around on set all day eating pizza, drinking soda, and doing nothing.
Sleeping. Yeah.
Just doing nothing. We did a 3-day shoot. I had my best friend's brother drive the van back and forth because the bus stop was 45 minutes away from the house because we were shooting in the
my
middle
God.
of nowhere.
High Point, right? Yeah.
3 days back and forth driving people to the bus stop and from the bus stop, and that's all he did.
That's
If
why
he
they have
wasn't-
drivers on set.
If he wasn't driving, told him, dude, go take a nap. The next bus isn't for another 2 hours. Go take a nap, relax. TV's downstairs. There's a
Have
Wii.
an iced
There's a
tea.
PlayStation. Relax. Do whatever you want. Dude, just go. Be gone. You know, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see anything because if I see you, that means you're doing something other than relaxing. And I thanked the hell out of him for it. He had to gas up that damn van, and that van was expensive to gas up. That was $80 to fill that damn tank.
And that was
It was a
that.
huge
That was
tank.
then.
It was a 15-passenger van.
So that was a
big-
20 or 30 gallon tank.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. That was $80 to gas up that tank, and he had to do it 4 times in the course of the weekend from that back and forth.
I mean, we
You know?
paid for it. Let's just be
Yes, we
clear.
paid for it. Of course, we
for it.
paid for it. You
But
know,
he had to stop at the gas station and literally stand there.
stand there for 10 minutes gassing up a tank. So
One other really great thing you can do, which is be really helpful when you're trying to get horror roles, is get some experience with special effects makeup. If you can find out, number one,
Find your allergies.
If you are allergic to latex, that is a great thing to know. And pretty
They're
much
gonna
all
test
you
you
need to
anyway,
do.
but-
Everybody will test you anyway, but it's a good thing to know because it shows you have experience with it.
If you
all
sit in
have
a
to do,
makeup artist chair
get
and they don't
liquid
test you for
latex
latex.
at any Halloween store, liquid latex, dab a little bit on your arm. And if it burns or it turns pink or any sort of allergic type
Anything.
reaction,
Anything other than
you
sits on your
probably have
skin.
an allergy.
yeah, on
Yeah.
the inside of your arm was very sensitive.
But
thin
makeup
skin.
can be extremely uncomfortable.
Yes.
Fake blood can be sticky. It
Taste
can get
horrible.
dry. It tastes horrible. A lot of times makeup prosthetics are uncomfortable. They pinch. They itch. It's not.
Yep.
It's not a pleasurable experience, and it's good if you can get experience. You know, find a makeup artist. You know, if you're
It's
on a
fun,
set
but it's not
and you
fun.
meet a makeup artist, tell her, you know, I'm looking to get experience with makeup. You know, if you ever need a model, and the makeup artist will love hearing this. She'll love to hear that you were willing to model and have this stuff
Yep.
glued to your face. They'll be so happy to hear it. So, you know, get experience with that kind of stuff. It's really good.
I actually had a lead actress I was talking to for a role in the film, and it required heavy aging makeup. And she told me, yeah, I'm allergic to latex. And I was like,
Well,
that's...
then, all right. So much for that.
Yeah, pretty much, because I talked
Yeah.
to my effects artist, and he's like, there's no way. I was like, so I had
Unless
to,
you're going to make silicone pieces now.
you know, I had to back off, unfortunately. But
So, do you have anything else you need to touch on with when it comes to
No?
when it comes to this? No.
No?
I think we've been again pretty comprehensive. We did another long episode, but hey, whatever.
I think we covered pretty much everything. But
Covered
if
a
we
lot.
haven't, why don't you let us know if we missed
Yeah,
out?
filmmaking sucks at gmail.com. Email us. Let us know if there's any questions or concerns you have, anything that we may have missed, something that happened to you. How about your on-set horror stories? Let us hear that. And don't forget, hashtag show us your first.
Why don't you show us your first headshot if you're an
there you
actor or
go.
an actress?
Send us
Show
your
us your
headshots.
first reel.
Yeah, we make
Show us
movies.
your reel. Yeah.
Send it.
Totally.
Ship it. We'll watch it.
Especially if you're in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. If you're around here, send us your headshots. Send us your reels.
Or Connecticut.
Or Connecticut too. Why not? No,
Connecticut, Rhode Island, we'll
Throw
take it.
Delaware in there. How about I'm
Delaware.
going to Boston next weekend? Throw Massachusetts in it while we're at it. Why the hell not?
Yep.
You know, send us, show us
You're
your
willing
first.
to travel? You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm looking at actresses from Maryland, like
Yeah.
DC, Baltimore area. So,
So email us at filmmakingsucks@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play. Give us a rating. Give us a review. Find us at massgravepictures.com. You can download archived episodes, and on iTunes and Google Play you get all the archives, all the old episodes. Subscribe for new episodes. For Filmmaking Sucks, I am Manny,
I'm Lynn.
and I'm Mario.
and that's going to do it for us. So,
Toodles.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Good luck, everybody, and make good films.